So all of you, welcome to the session. Today, we are going to see one more topic in the thermal radiation. So Rayleigh-Jeans law. Rayleigh-Jeans law, we are going to see this one. Okay. So where Rayleigh and Jeans developed a theory for the spectral distribution of black body radiation by the application of electrodynamics and statistical mechanics electrodynamics and statistical mechanics and statistical mechanics. Okay, so now let us see how they developed a special different theory and how they used this electrodynamics and statistical mechanics in their explanation. Okay, so for this let us they considered that the 2K halo cube here, they assumed one halo cube like this. They assumed halo cube. I'm taking halo cube, and it has a length L, that means enclosure of side L. So sides of this cube walls, it has perfectly reflecting walls, perfectly reflecting walls. So it has perfectly reflecting walls, and the length of side of that halo cubic enclosure is how much? L. Okay, now so what I am taking here, let us take a black particle inside the enclosure. Here I am taking a black particle inside the enclosure. Okay, so what I am taking a black particle inside the enclosure. Okay, so the radiations emitted by the particle will reflect by the walls. You know that this is the black body. Here black particle is nothing but black body which emits radiations, right? These radiations are reflected by the walls of the halo cube, right? Understand? So all radiation move this direction and this direction. After incident with the walls, they reflected back again like this. Okay, so there exist so many reflections of that radiation. Okay, so many reflections of the radiation. Now see what happened. According to electromagnetic theory, the radiation consisting of number of waves which travel in all possible directions. Yes, we know that radiation which are emitted by this black particle or black body are moving in different directions, right? So they are moving different directions within the enclosure. We know that radiation is traveling in the form of waves. That waves travel in the different directions of the enclosure, this halo cubic enclosure. Okay, now they undergo multiple reflection from various walls of the enclosure. So in course of time, after observing some time, the enclosure filled with the stationary waves of all wavelengths, right? The stationary waves of all wavelengths. So here has the reflected wave interference with the corresponding incident wave form a stationary wave. So we know that how the stationary waves are formed. So as the incident wave interference between reflected and incident waves, so as a result they forms interference, that means stationary waves are formed within the enclosure. Okay, stationary waves are formed within the enclosure. See there multiple reflections, right? So finally they form a stationary wave. Now so let us see, if a wire of length L fixed at both ends, for example, here I am taking two walls. Now here what I am taking a rope. The length of rope can be represented by L initially. So what happened now, at both ends, the wire of length L fixed at both ends is plucked at midpoint. Here I'm pulling the rope opposite direction. That means we are plucked. So here here the rope is plucked at its midpoint. The stationary waves are formed with the nodes at the fixed points, right? When we plucked, we know we can observe this type of picture. When we pull upwards direction at the middle of this rope, immediately their stationary waves are formed, so between these two walls and the nodes at the fixed points. If the wire vibrates with end loops, we know that already we know this concept, right? So if the wire vibrates with end loops, if end loops are exist between these two walls, what happened? Due to the formation of stationary waves, then the total length of this the total length between these two walls can also be written as here L is equal to, so n lambda by 2. We know that L equal to n lambda by 2, or lambda equal to 2 L by n, where lambda equal to 2L by n, where lambda equal to 2L by n, where n can have the values n equal to 0, 1, 2 up to, so not 0, there is no 0 because one loop must be there, so n equal to 1, 2 up to infinity, where n values goes to. Similarly, so in the case of enclosure, we know that this is the example. So what happens, this same scenario took place in the enclosure, this enclosure, right? Two walls are there, stationary waves are formed between these two walls of the cube. The length of the distance between these two walls can be represented by L, we know very well already. So we have taken their L, sides of the cube. So therefore, what happened here, similarly in the case of enclosure filled with radiation, if L is the distance between the walls, then the corresponding allowed frequencies are, nu equal to C by lambda. Nu equal to C by lambda, we know very well. That is what frequency, the nu equal to allowed frequency, nu equal to C by lambda. But already we got that where lambda is equal to what, 2L by n. And substitute here, then finally what we get, nu equal to, if we substitute lambda value here, then we'll get there NC by 2L, NC by 2L. So let us assume this is what equation number 1. So nu equal to NC by 2L. So what is C there? Velocity of light, we know very well. So what is C there? Velocity of light, where C is nothing but what there? Velocity of light. Velocity of light, where C. And what about here nu, where nu is nothing but what there? Allowed frequency. Here every allowed frequency is called a mode of vibration, where every allowed frequency is called a mode of vibration. Close the door, please. Every allowed frequency is called mode of vibration. All right. So now, next thing is, now if three edges of the cube form the three axes, see there, see three edges. Let us take this edge and this edge here, this edge and this edge. Okay, so every three edges of the cube form the three axes in the space, the number of loops in each direction. So the number of loops in each direction, for example, this is what along the x direction, the loops formed along the x direction can be nx. Okay, similarly the loops formed along the y direction can be ny, and similarly the loops formed along the z direction can be represented by nz. And we know that here we'll take three edges of the cube, hollow cube. So this is what x direction, and this is what y direction, this is what z direction. Now I'm taking a normal. So the angle made with this normal can be the number of loops in each direction, nx, ny, nz are, we know that. So the loops formed along the x direction can be nx, and along the y direction ny, and along the z direction nz. Alright, so now, so this can be represented by small l. Here I'm the length from here to here is small l. Now, so we know that as the radiation is diffused, the waves can be inclined at angle. Alpha, beta, gamma. That means with the x-axis can be angle between these two things is alpha, and from here to here is beta. So we know that here to here is beta, and from here to here can be taken as gamma, right? All right, so three angles. So this is the angle made by the waves which are traveling along the x direction, where beta is the angle made by the wave which is traveling along the y direction, and where gamma is the angle which is made by the wave which is moving in the z direction. So alpha, beta, gamma angles are there. Now, so what I'm taking, the number of loops formed along the x direction. So we know that formula already, we got that one. So what is that formula? We already got that lambda is equal to 2l by n, and n is equal to 2l by lambda, right? All right. So along the x direction, number of loops formed, that can be written as nx is equal to 2l by lambda. All right. Similarly, ny can also be written as 2l by lambda, and similarly nz can be written as 2l by lambda. The number of loops along the x direction, y direction, z direction. All right. So now here, but we know that where x-axis makes some angle, where the waves which is traveling along the x direction make some angle alpha with this normal, right? So that angle can be, here I am writing this equation can also be written as, here instead of taking L, so instead of taking L, what I am taking here is, I am taking nx 2 into, here I am taking L cos alpha by lambda. Okay, so by lambda. So similarly from this equation, what I am getting here, so here I am getting here all L cos alpha equal to, L cos alpha is equal to nx lambda by 2. Okay, so nx lambda by 2. Similarly from this equation we'll get there, so L cos beta equal to ny lambda by 2. Okay, similarly from this equation what we get there, so finally L cos gamma equal to ny lambda by 2. Sorry, this is ny, this is what, nz lambda by 2. All right, so from these three equations we know that one cosine law, so the directional cosines obey the law, that is what we know very well, cos alpha square plus cos beta square plus cos gamma square equal to 1. All right, so here let us square these three equations and add together. Then what we get there, here we'll get there L square, so cos square alpha, you take L square common, then finally what we get there, cos square alpha, cos square beta plus cos square gamma, so that equal to, so nx square plus ny square plus nz square into lambda square by, what we get there, 2 square. What we get there, here it is, we'll get there 2 square. All right, so finally from this equation we get that, here we know that cos square alpha plus cos square beta plus cos square gamma equal to 1. So after substituting the 1 here, then we'll get there L, here we'll write 2L square by lambda square equal to nx square plus ny square plus nz square. Understand? So this is the very important equation, nx square plus ny square plus nz square equal to, what we get there, 2L square by lambda square. So what it represents here, which represents an ellipsoid, with nx, ny, nz directions. We know that nx, ny, nz directions has coordinate axis. Each set of values of nx, ny, nz satisfies the above equation corresponding to one mode of vibration. The total number of modes of vibrations are, the total number of possible sets of, here nx, ny, nz. Alright, nx, ny, nz. Number of vibrations are number of sets. Number of vibrations, the number of modes of vibrations are the total number of possible sets, nx, ny, nz. Here the number of modes of vibration in wavelength interval lambda, the number of modes of vibrations in the wavelength interval lambda and lambda plus d lambda, here lambda and lambda plus d lambda, between the wavelengths lambda and d lambda can be found using this equation. So we can find, with the help of this equation, we can find a number of modes of vibration between the two given wavelengths. Understand? Two given wavelengths, the number of modes of vibrations. We found the number of modes of vibration between two wavelengths lambda and lambda plus d lambda with the help of this equation. Okay, so you have to remember this equation. So you have to remember this equation. Let us assume this is what, equation number 2, equation number 2. And the next stage is what we are doing here. If we consider the number of modes of vibration in two-dimensional case, see there, this equation represents number of modes of vibration in three-dimensional case, because where exists nx, ny, nz. So but instead of taking three-dimensional, let us take two-dimensional plane. So what happened? This equation reduced to, see there, so this is what three-dimensional case, this is what in free space or three-dimensional phase. But if you take two-dimensional phase, there exist only two integers, that they are nx and ny only. So in that case, this equation can also be written as, for two-dimensional case, nx square plus ny square, there is no z because I am taking two-dimensional plane, equal to 2l by lambda whole square. Okay, so what this equation represents? It represents a circle, right? It represents a circle. This equation represents circle equation. So when we plot nx on the x-axis and ny on the y-axis, so we'll get the picture is like this. See there, what I am doing, I am taking a circle. Okay, here is what I am taking, circle xy plane. Okay, this is what x direction, y direction. So here I am taking nx along the x direction, here number of loops along the y direction. Okay, so now what I am doing here, I am, see there, so only we are taking one quadrant. So why I am taking only one quadrant? See there, every point of intersection, see every point of intersection gives a mode of vibration. Every point of intersection gives a mode of vibration. See there, this is what intersecting point, this is what intersecting point, this is what intersecting point, here intersecting point, here intersecting point. Okay, all right, see there, so every intersecting point gives a mode of vibration. Since the positive values of nx and ny are allowed, see there, we are taking only positive values of nx and ny. We have to consider intersection is positive quadrant only. See, I am taking only positive quadrant because I am taking the values of nx and ny are allowed only positive values. That is why only we are taking first quadrant in the circle, because in all the remaining quadrants there exists negative symbol. We know this is what negative x direction, this is what negative y direction. So that is why only I am taking for the values of positive values of nx and ny. So now, hence the number of squares the number of squares in it is equal to 1/4 area of quadrant. See there, we know that the area of the circle can be written as pi r square. And now what I am taking, hence the number of squares in it's equal to 1/4 area of the quadrant. So 1/4 area of the quadrant, the number of squares is equal to 1/4 area of the quadrant. Therefore we'll write pi r square by 4, 1/4 area of the quadrant. So that is what pi r square by 4. I'm substituting r value. So where you know that in the previous case, so where in the previous case here, here what I'm doing here, this equation can be also be written as r square equal to 2l by lambda whole square. What I am doing, I am equating nx square plus ny square plus nz square equal to r square. Understand, you have to remember this point. Now by using this concept here, so we got that from this equation it will be what we can write here, r square is equal to 2l by lambda whole square, right? So this is what 1/4 part of area, pi r square by 4. Now what we have to do, we have to substitute that value, r value, in this equation. So if you substitute r value, what happen? So we know that where r square is equal to l square by lambda. By substituting here, what we get, pi by 4 into r square value is how much, 2l by lambda whole square, right? So finally what we get there, here we'll get there pi l square by lambda square. Okay, so the number of modes of vibration with the wavelength lying between lambda and d plus d lambda, lambda and lambda plus d lambda can be obtained by, so differentiating this equation. By differentiating this equation, we'll get the number of modes of vibrations, by we get the number of modes of vibration by differentiating differentiating above equation. So that is within the limits lambda and lambda plus d lambda. Understand? So now what we have to, let us see, this is what we are taking. We are taking plane, xy plane. This is what a two-dimensional plane. So now what, let us extend this concept. Let us extend this concept to the sphere. See, this is what circle. When the circle becomes sphere, now we can extend the above idea, this idea, to three-dimensional space. The circle will become sphere and each unit square will be unit cube, right? So in three-dimensional case, this is what here square. So in three-dimensional case it will become cube. All right. So this is what circle, this is what two-dimensional case. In three-dimensional case it will become sphere. All right. Now the total number of modes of vibrations, the total, if we extend to the sphere, what I am taking here, it will become sphere, and where this will become cube. So I am extending this topic. Now the circle becomes sphere and the square become cube. So in that case, what happened, the number of modes of vibrations f up to wavelength lambda will be those in the octet of the spherical shell of radii, where radii can be taken as 2L by lambda, where the radii. So we can write there number of modes of vibration f equal to, see, 1 by 8, because where cube has 8 corners, and the volume of the sphere can be 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? So that means the number of modes of vibrations are equal to 1 by 8th part of the volume of the sphere. All right. So the number of modes of vibrations in the sphere is equal to 1 by 8th part of volume of the sphere, right? 1 by 8th part of volume of the sphere. So finally what we get there here, so here we'll get that equal to 1 by 8, so 4 pi by 3, where I'm taking r cube. Instead of r, what you have to substitute there, 2L by lambda I'm substituting in place of r. All right. So finally what we get there, here I'm getting 4 pi L cube by 3 lambda cube. Okay, so 4 pi L cube by 3 lambda cube, where f equal to. All right. So the number of modes of vibration, that is degree of freedom between lambda and d, lambda plus d lambda, is obtained by differentiating the above expression. See there, here this is the number of modes of vibration, but the number of modes of vibration between the limits lambda and lambda plus d lambda is obtained by differentiating this equation. Similarly, this is what number of modes of vibration in the sphere is equal to 1 by 8th part of volume of the sphere. So, but if you get the number of modes of vibration between the two limits lambda and lambda plus d lambda, we'll get a differentiating this equation. F is equal to 4 pi L cube by 3 lambda cube. Let us differentiate this equation between the limits lambda and lambda plus d lambda. So what we get there? So what I am doing here, I am differentiating the equation. F equal to, we got that f is equal to 4 pi L cube by 3 lambda cube, and differentiating this equation, what we get, the df equal to, so df is equal to, what we get there, 4 pi L cube by 3 into d by d lambda into 1 by lambda cube. So after differentiating this one, what I am getting, df equal to, so finally 4 pi L cube by 3 into minus 3 by lambda to the power of 4 into d lambda. So differentiating this equation with respect to L, we'll get this one. Neglecting negative sign, because we know that d lambda is positive, then we'll write df equal to, the number of modes of vibration between the two limits can be df equal to 4 pi v by lambda to the power of 4 and d lambda. So the number of modes of vibration between the limits. So what is v there? So what is v there? We know that v can be where L cube can also be written as v cube. All right. So L cube is nothing but v cube. So where v is nothing but volume. V is nothing but volume. So therefore we got df is equal to 4 pi v by lambda to the power of into d lambda. So where v is the volume, the above number must be multiplied by 2. What I am doing, I am multiplying with this equation by 2, because we know that the transverse electromagnetic waves has two polarizations for each mode. So for each mode, transverse electromagnetic wave has two polarizations. So that is why we have to multiply this equation with 2. Thus the total number of modes of vibration, the total number of modes of vibrations can be df is equal to 8 pi v by lambda to the power of 4 and d lambda. All right, so number of modes of vibration per unit value. See, this is got the number of modes of vibration in the volume v, but the number of modes of vibration per unit volume, the number of modes of vibrations per unit volume. That means what we have to do, take v equal to 1, otherwise where we'll get per unit volume df is equal to, so 8 pi by lambda to the power of 4 into d lambda. All right, so according to law of equipartition of energy, according to law of equipartition energy, equipartition energy, the average energy per mode of vibration, the average energy per mode of vibration is, we know that kT, we know that what is K, Boltzmann constant, where T is absolute temperature. All right, so where K is Boltzmann constant and T is absolute temperature, so energy density within the wavelength lambda and lambda plus d lambda is given by. So now we have to find out, we know very well energy density. All right, energy density within wavelength lambda and lambda plus d lambda, lambda and lambda plus d lambda is, so I'm writing this one as E lambda d lambda equal to, so the total number of modes of vibration, the total number of modes of vibration into average energy per mode, average energy per mode. So what we get there, E lambda d lambda equal to 1 8 pi lambda by lambda to the power of 4 into kT, So finally we'll get there E lambda d lambda equal to, so 8 pi kT by lambda to the power of 4 into d lambda. So this is our required equation. Energy density within the wavelength limits lambda and lambda plus d lambda is what? E lambda d lambda is equal to 8 pi kT by lambda to the power of 4 into d lambda. All right, so this is what our required equation. This is what we call Rayleigh-Jeans formula. This is called Rayleigh-Jeans formula. Rayleigh-Jeans formula for energy distribution. All right, so for example, this is what in terms of wavelength. See there, so this equation contain wavelength, but in terms of frequency, so what we can do, we can write, we know that nu equal to c by lambda. So from this equation, and also we'll write this one as lambda is equal to c by nu, and d lambda is equal to c into d nu by nu square. All right, and substitute these strings in this equation, we'll get the energy density, the energy distribution in terms of frequency. All right, so what we get there finally, here we'll get E nu d nu equal to, and substitute all the lambda to the power of 4 and d lambda values there. Then finally we'll get there 8 pi nu square by c cube into d nu. Okay, after you substituting these two values in this equation, and we'll get E lambda E nu d nu equal to 8 pi nu square by c cube into d nu. All right, so this is our required equation. All right, so this is in terms of wavelength and this is in terms of frequency. So these two equations called Rayleigh-Jeans formula for energy distribution.